Good evening, everyone. We have the privilege this evening, I'm going to take this off so you can actually hear me. We have the privilege this evening of having Mr. Jericho Otis, an 8th grade student at Albert Cammon Middle School, who will lead us in a prayer before the pledge. Jericho is a member of the Albert Cammon Middle 2020-21 football team, track team, and is also a member of the Albert Cammon Middle Band, concert, and symphonic. Jericho Otis is also a 3-year member of the district and parish honor band. He plays the tuba. Jericho is one proud pirate, and we are one proud board to have you join us this evening. So if we could stand now for Jericho, and then Mr. Smith will lead us in the pledge.
Lord, as we come together, we ask that you watch over everyone and keep us safe and healthy. We ask that you keep blessing us and our families during these trying times. We come to you with an open heart and an open mind. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, thank you so much, Mr. Jericho. We appreciate you. I call to order this evening's meeting of the St. Charles Parish Public School Board for Wednesday, November the 18th, 2020. Our roll call this evening shows that we have 7 board members present. Mr. Sonny Savoy is not able to join us this evening. We also have joining us Dr. Ken Ortling, our superintendent, and Ms. Shelley Babineau, our secretary. Welcome all. Moving on to our resolutions and proclamations. 2.01, resolution in memory of Ms. Julie Ann Grant. And I would ask Mr. Knockamp if he'd be so kind as to read that one for us.
To be my honor, Madam Vice President. Resolution in memory of Ms. Julie Ann Grant. Whereas Ms. Julie Ann Grant served as a teacher for 20 years in the St. Charles Parish Public School System. Be it resolved that the St. Charles Parish Public School Board herein expresses to the family of the late Julie Ann Grant sincere sympathy in this their time of sorrow. Be it further resolved that the page in the November 18, 2020 minute book be set aside for the sole purpose of inscribing thereon this resolution, and that a copy of this resolution be presented to Ms. Grant's family. I now move approval of this resolution.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Knockamp, second by Mr. Robichaux. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Resolution 2.01 passes unanimously. Item 2.02, resolution granting preliminary approval for the issuance of general obligation school refunding bonds. And I would ask Mr. Al Suffren if he'd be so kind as to read that for us.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. Resolution granting preliminary approval for the issuance of general obligation school refunding bonds. A resolution giving preliminary approval to the issuance of not exceeding $19 million of general obligation school refunding bonds in one or more series of School District Number 1 of the Parish of St. Charles, State of Louisiana, making application to the State Bond Commission for approval of said bonds and providing for other matters in connection therewith. Whereas pursuant to the provisions of Article 6, Section 33 of the Constitution of the State of Louisiana of 1974, Subpart A, Part 3, Chapter 4 of Title 39 of the Louisiana Revised Statutes of 1950, as amended, and other constitutional and statutory authority, School District Number 1 of the Parish of St. Charles, State of Louisiana, has heretofore issued $25 million of general obligation school bonds, Series 2012, dated October 2nd, 2012, and $20 million of General Obligation School Bonds, Series 2013, dated December 9, 2013. And whereas in order to provide debt service savings to the taxpayers of School District Number 1 of the Parish of St. Charles, State of Louisiana, the issuer desires to refund all or any portion of the callable maturities of the issuer's outstanding Series 2012 and Series 2013 bonds pursuant to the provisions of Part 2 of Chapter 4 of Subtitle 2 of Title 39 of Louisiana Revised Statutes of 1950 as amended, and other constitutional and statutory authority through the issuance of its refunding bonds. And whereas pursuant to the Act and subject to the approval of the State Bond Commission, the issuer desires to accomplish the refunding by authorizing the issuance of not exceeding $19 million of its general obligation school refunding bonds to be payable for unlimited ad valorem taxes. And whereas the issuer desires to make formal application to the State Bond Commission for approval of the issuance of the bonds, now therefore be it resolved that we, the members of the St. Charles Parish School Board, approve the preliminary approval for the issuance of general obligation school refunding bonds not to exceed $19 million. And I move for approval of this resolution.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Sutton and a second by Mr. Knockham. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Item 2.02 passes unanimously. Item 3.01. The school board annually hosts a service awards program to recognize employees who have devoted years of service to the school system. Benchmarks of 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, and 50 years are recognized. Employees are being honored at the board meeting tonight. Dr. Ortling and myself will present the service awards at this time. Say something.
Good evening. I have the honor and privilege tonight of recognizing several staff members with 20 years of service, 25 and 30 this evening. And we thank you as a board for allowing us to have this evening, knowing that it is very important for us to honor our employees. So thank you, and we'll begin with our 20 years.
So the first 20 years is Bernice Aguilar. Susan Beard. Cynthia Bullock. Sammy Caluette. Kay Casanova. Denise Downsburg. Terry Downsburg. Gordon. Darrell Gilliard. Frank Harding. Denise LeBeuf. Ann McGuire. Monique Mohammed. Michelle Knockham. Kelly Ortling. Latoya Samuels. Patricia Smith. Martha Sewell.
Got it.
Wendy Trudy. So we're going to take about a 2-second break and let the next group come in. These are our 25 years of service. We have Mr. Howard Blood. Velvet Davis. Maria Judith Ronji. And Stephanie Side.
Okay, we're taking this opportunity once again to thank all of our recipients of service awards. And as a district, we certainly cannot do it without you and your longevity, so we greatly appreciate it. Next item on the agenda is 3.02, Board and Superintendent recognition.
Alamance Elementary School employee was named the 2020 Louisiana Association of Teachers of Mathematics Outstanding Elementary School Math Teacher, Angel Bourgeois.
Wow, that is so impressive. Mr. Suffren, our accountant, just told me, that handed me a paper that if we count up all of our service award winners tonight, our employees, they're all winners because they've given so much of their lives to our district and our children. 70 employees would have received their service award this evening. If they weren't able to be here tonight, it will be given to them shortly, with a total of 1,625 years of service. So thank you to them. I'm a little loud, I'm sorry. But I'm so excited to have a chance to be able to thank them all for everything that they've done for our school system and our children, because we know they do everything they do because they love our kids just like we do. And it's going to be quite a year to remember when they look back on their pictures and they had to wear masks, huh? A year to remember. Okay, we're moving on with our business items now. Item 4.01, minutes of the October 19, 2020 committee meetings, and October 21st, 2020 regular board meeting, and November 4th, 2020 special board meeting.
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Robichaux and a second by Mr. Oakwam. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote.
Is it this one?
Item 4.01 passes unanimously.
Sorry.
Item 4.02, bid authorization request, Hornville High School gym renovation and addition. The Hornville High School gym renovation and addition is an approved project of the 2019 sales tax bond issue. The construction plans for the Hornville High School gym renovation and addition have been completed by the architect and are ready for bid. This agenda item was reviewed at the Capital Improvements Committee meeting of the board on Monday, November 16, 2020, and is aligned with Goal D of the board's strategic action plan.
Madam Vice President, I move that we approve the bid authorization request for the Hornville High School gym renovation and addition.
I'll second.
Have a motion by Mr. Nakane and a second by Mr. Oakwam, correct? All right, any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Item 4.02 passes unanimously. Item 4.03, bid authorization request, Destrehan High School gym renovation and addition. The Destrehan High School gym renovation and addition is an approved project of the 2019 sales tax bond issue. The construction plans for the Destrehan High School gym renovation and addition have been completed by the architect and are ready for bid. This agenda item was reviewed at the Capital Improvements Committee meeting of the board on Monday, November 16, 2020, and is aligned with Goal D of the board's strategic action plan.
Madam Vice President, I move that we approve the bid authorization request for the Destrehan High School gym renovation and addition.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Nakhan, second by Mr. Robichaux. Any discussion?
I would just like to say that
Sir?
Monday's presentations by Welty Architect Firm and Murray Architect Firm was pretty impressive. I think, if the product can be built as designed, it's going to be a very outstanding opportunity for our high schools to kind of show off a little bit more and put us in that 5A category. So congratulations to the two firms. We appreciate your hard work so far and look forward to putting pilings in the ground.
Thank you. Any further comment or discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Item 4.03 passes unanimously. Item 4.04, bid authorization request, Mimosa Park Elementary School buildings A, C, and D renovations. The renovation of buildings A, C, and D at Mimosa Park Elementary School is an approved project of the 2019 sales tax bond issue. The construction plans for the Mimosa Park Elementary School buildings A, C, and D renovations have been completed by the architect and they are ready for bid. This agenda item was reviewed at the Capital Improvements Committee meeting of the board on Monday, November 16, 2020, and is aligned with Goal D of the board's strategic action plan.
Madam Vice President, I move that we approve the bid authorization request for Mimosa Park Elementary School buildings A, C, and D, I believe with an alternate in B.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Nakhan, a second by Mr. Oquam. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Item 4.04 passes unanimously. Item 4.05, bid authorization request, E.J. Landry Alternative Center roof replacement. The E.J. Landry Alternative Center roof replacement is an approved project of the 2019 sales tax bond issue. The construction plans for the E.J. Landry Alternative Center roof replacement have been completed by the engineer and are ready for bid. This agenda item was reviewed at the Capital Improvements Committee meeting of the board on Monday, November 16, 2020, and is aligned with Goal D of the board's strategic action plan.
Madam Vice President, I move that we approve the bid authorization request for the E.J. Landry Alternative Center roof replacement.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Nakhan, second by Mr. Robichaux. Any discussion or comment? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Item 4.05 passes unanimously. Item 4.06, bid authorization request, unleaded fuel. The existing contract for unleaded fuel expires on March 31st, 2021. The estimated quantity for unleaded fuel for maintenance and support vehicles is 2,000 gallons per month. Bidding on unleaded fuel will allow the district to purchase fuel at a fair and competitive market price. This agenda item was presented at the Transportation Committee meeting of the board on Monday, November 16, 2020, and is aligned with Goal C of the district's strategic action plan.
I move that we approve the bid authorization request for unleaded fuel.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Suffren and a second by Mr. Robichaux. I apologize. Second by Mr. Robichaux. Any discussion or comment? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Item 4.06 passes unanimously. Item 4.07, bid authorization request, diesel fuel. The existing contract for diesel fuel expires March 31st, 2021. The estimated quantity for diesel fuel needed for school buses, maintenance, and support vehicles is 23,500 gallons per month. Bidding on diesel fuel will allow the district to purchase fuel at a fair and competitive market price. This agenda item was presented at the Transportation Committee meeting of the Board on Monday, November 16, 2020, and is aligned with Goal C of the district's Strategic Action Plan.
Madam Vice President, I'll move that we approve the bid authorization request for diesel fuel.
Second.
I have a
Motion by Mr. Suffren and a second by Mr. Oquin. Any discussion or comment? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Item 4.07 passes unanimously. Item 4.08, bid acceptance, lease purchase, school buses. In a continuing effort to upgrade the parish-owned bus fleet, the Transportation Department requested bids to lease purchase buses. One bid was received on Wednesday, November 4, 2020. Kent Mitchell Bus Sales and Services Incorporated submitted the bid for the lease purchase of 4 school buses. This agenda item was reviewed at the Transportation Committee meeting of the Board on Monday, November 16, 2020, and is aligned with Goal C of the Board's Strategic Action Plan.
Madam President, I move we accept the bid from Kent Mitchell Bus Sales and Service, Inc. for the purchase of 4 school buses through a lease purchase agreement for a cost of 10 annual payments at $41,740.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Have a motion by Mr. Robichaux and a second by Mr. Nakam. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Item 4.08 passes unanimously. Item 4.09, bid acceptance, purchase of school buses. In a continuing effort to upgrade the parish-owned bus fleet, the Transportation Department requested bids to purchase buses. One bid was received on Wednesday, November 4, 2020. Kent Mitchell Bus Sales and Service Incorporated submitted the bid for 2 buses equipped to transport students with special needs, 1 bus equipped to transport Head Start students, and 2 regular 65-passenger buses. This agenda item was reviewed at the Transportation Committee meeting of the Board on Monday, November 16, 2020, and is aligned with Goal C of the Board's Strategic Action Plan.
Madam President, I'll move that we accept the bid from Kent Mitchell Bus Sales and Service for the purchase of 2 buses equipped to transport students with special needs, 1 bus equipped to transport Head Start students, and 2 65-passenger buses.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Suffren and a second by Mr. Oquam. Any discussion or comments?
Yeah, I'd like to point out that it's at a cost of $479,004.
Thank you, Mr. Robichaux. Any further comment? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Item 4.09 passes unanimously. Item 4.10, personnel items. Staffing management is necessary to maintain effective functioning of the St. Charles Parish Public School System. The Human Resources Department provides a staffing update monthly to the Board. This agenda item was reviewed at the Personnel and Policy Committee meeting of the Board on Monday, November 16, 2020, and aligned with Goal B of the Board's Strategic Action Plan.
Move approval of the personnel items.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Robichaux. Any discussion or comment? Please cast your vote. Item 4.10 passes unanimously. Item 4.11, revisions to policy 4.01, equal opportunity employment, second reading and adoption.
Madam Chairman, in our continuing effort to bring all of our policies into compliance with existing state laws and local laws and ordinances, the board has been working diligently to revise policies that seem to be out of compliance with those laws. We have brought those policies that we have completed to the board for first reading. Tonight we'll bring some policies for our second reading. And I'd like to ask that we consent agenda those. Specifically, they are items 4.11, revision of policy 4.1, equal opportunity employment, policy 4.12, revision of policy 4.08, employee investigations, policy 4.13, revision of policy 4.10, title 7, employee harassment, and policy 4.14, revision to policy 4.18, title 9, non-discrimination complaints and grievances.
I second his motion to consent agenda.
Mr. Smith made a motion for consent agenda. Mr. Robichaud second that motion. Do we have any discussion, comments? Hearing none, then we will go with the consent agenda and move forward with items 4.11, 4.12, 4.13, and 4.14.
Electronic, vocal.
And we will now cast our vote.
Now we have to vote on the items.
Those 4 items passed unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to item 4.15,
Is that right?
policy 4.30, employment of retired personnel, first reading. Louisiana Revised Statute 11:710 and 710.1 were revised due to the adoption of Act 337. These statutes include payment options for retirees who return to active service on or after July 1st, 2020. The Act also provides for additional required notification that the school board must give to the teachers' retirement system of Louisiana within 45 days after June 30th of each year. Since the St. Charles Parish School Board did not adopt a policy governing the employment of retired personnel, a new board policy and procedure, 4.30, employment of retired personnel, was presented to the board. This agenda item was reviewed at the Personnel and Policy Committee meeting of the board on Monday, November 16, 2020, and is aligned with Goal B of the board's strategic plan.
Move approval.
Motion by Mr. Oquan,
Second.
second by Mr. Robichaud. Thank you. Any discussion or comments? Please cast your vote. Item 4.15 passes unanimously. Item 4.16, Policy 1.29, Non-Title IX Sexually Related Student Misconduct, first reading. Upon review of Board Policy and Procedure 1.29, Sexual Harassment of Students, significant revisions, including a title change, were required. This agenda item was reviewed at the Personnel and Policy Committee meeting of the Board on Monday, November 16, 2020, and is aligned with Goal D of the Board's strategic plan.
Move approval.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Nakhan, second by Mr. Oquan. Any discussion or comment? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Item 4.16 passes unanimously. Item 4.17, Policy 1.31, Child Abuse and Neglect, first reading. Upon review of Board Policy 1.31, Child Abuse and Neglect, revisions were necessary to align with the 2020 Louisiana legislative mandate of Act 272. This agenda item was reviewed at the Personnel and Policy Committee meeting of the Board on Monday, November 16, 2020, and is aligned with Goal D of the Board's Strategic Action Plan.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Robichaud, second by Mr. Suffren. Any comment? Discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Item 4.17 passes unanimously. Item 4.18, accounts payable for the month of October 2020. Invoices and other financial obligations of the school district are customarily paid weekly. Request for approval of these transactions is normally made to the board monthly. The board must approve these expenditures of public funds under its jurisdiction. This agenda item was reviewed at the Finance and Audit Committee meeting of the board on Monday, November the 16th, 2020, and is aligned with Goal C of the board's Strategic Action Plan.
Madam Vice President, I move that we approve the accounts payable for the month of October 2020 in the total amount of $3,168,128.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Suffren and a second by Mr. Nakhan. Any discussion or comment? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Item 4.18 passes unanimously. Next, we come to our closing items. Item 5.01, Standing Committee Reports. The Chair will hear from any chairpersons that would like to share this afternoon.
Madam Chair, the Transportation Committee met Monday, November 16th. There were 4 items on the agenda, and all 4 of those items were approved tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander. I appreciate that.
Madam Chair, the Finance and Audit Committee has actually had 2 meetings in the past 8 days. The committee met on Tuesday, November 10th, and discussed 2 items. One was that our 2001 general obligation bonds will expire soon, and we will be scheduling a tax bond election for renewal of this 1.2 millage for either for the fall of 2021 or the spring of 2022. The committee also discussed a debt refunding opportunity. The current low interest rate environment presents favorable conditions for the board to refund a portion of its existing debt and realize a cost savings. This is accomplished by reducing debt payments by issuing new bonds with lower interest rates, which pay off the old bonds with higher interest rates. With this refunding, the district could achieve approximately $600,000 in present value savings. The committee recommended approval of the debt refunding to the full board. The committee also met on Monday, November 16th, and covered 4 items. 2 of those items were on the agenda for this meeting and were approved by the full board. Those 2 items were the resolution granting preliminary approval for the issuance of general obligation school refunding bonds, which developed from the discussion of the existing debt structure and refunding opportunity. And the other item was accounts payable for the month of October 2020.
Thank you, Mr. Suffren. Pardon me?
The other 2 items that the committee discussed, it was for committee discussion only, was our internal auditor, Adam Neighbors, reviewed the process and results of the 2019-2020 internal school audits conducted at the beginning of the school year. And lastly, Teresa Brown, Administrative Ancillary Services, presented information regarding the USDA Southeast Commodities Processing Cooperative Agreement. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Suffren.
Madam Vice President, Capital Improvements Committee met on Monday, the 16th, reviewed 4 items. Those items included bid authorization request for the Hornfield High School gym renovation and addition, bid authorization request for Destrahan High School gym renovation and addition, bid authorization request for Mimosa Park Elementary School buildings, A, C, and D, the renovations in those buildings. And lastly, the bid authorization request for E.J. Landry Alternative Center roof replacement. Those 4 items were presented at the board table tonight, and happy to say that all 4 items were approved. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Narcan. No? Policy and the Personnel and Policy Committee did meet on Monday, November the 16th. There were 8 items on the agenda that evening. Personnel items have already been approved. We did have 4 items that were on consent agenda this evening because they were second readings and they were approved earlier. And then 4 items of policy changes were first readings, and they also were approved earlier this evening. And that concludes my report. Moving on to 5.02, the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Vice.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. Give a quick update on high school sports. Both Honolulu High and Destrahan High School swim teams are headed to Shreveport for the state swim meet on November 21st. In volleyball, Honolulu High School volleyball team finished the regular season 11-10 and advanced to the first round of the playoffs, where they fell this summer. The Destrahan High volleyball team finished the regular season 21-7 and were undefeated district champions. They advanced to the second round of the playoffs, where they lost to Mount Carmel. Cross country, Honolulu High School boys took first place in District 758 cross country and 7th in the region. The Honolulu High girls were district champions and 5th in the region. Both the boys and girl teams competed November 17th at the state competition in Natchitoches, Louisiana. The Destrahan High girls cross country team also advanced to the state tournament in Natchitoches. I'd also like to send a reminder out to all of our community that on November 20th, this Friday night, we'll have the Honolulu High School and Destrahan High School football teams compete in the Battle on the River. So please wear your mask and socially distance while we root on your favorite team. I'm sure this board has their favorite team. As a reminder, school will be in session for in-person and e-learning on November 23rd and 24th. It's hurricane makeup days. Schools will be closed Wednesday, November 25th through Friday, November 27th for Thanksgiving. Classes will resume on Monday, November 30th. On behalf of the board, myself, and our entire school system, we'd like to express our heartfelt thanks to the families and community of St. Charles Parish for your support of our AAA school system. We are thankful for your continued patience, flexibility, and understanding as we serve you and our students during these challenging, opportunistic times. Madam Vice President, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Appreciate it.
Move adjourn.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Robichaud and a second by Mr. Narcan to adjourn this evening's meeting. Any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.